you don't want to think the worst, but, I mean, you do.
This case is about a 911 dispatcher and a city police officer.
Ooh.
A married couple, and one had turned up missing.
It's like a horrible dream I can't wake up from. I miss her a lot.
It's plan to leave around 11.
Yeah, I'm trying.
People came out in hundreds.
Where are my YouTube people?
We covered about 175 square miles of landmass. So the community as a whole was very concerned about Teresa Parker missing.
I am hopeful they'll find her. I hope they find her in good health.
Every morning when I open my eyes, I think about her. You know, at night when I lay my head down to go to sleep,
oh, baby,
I think about her. You know, Teresa, where could you be?
My friend.
I don't believe that she would have just vanished off the face of the earth.
We knew that this was not the typical missing person case in Walker County. This was going to be bigger than Walker County when it was all said and done.
Oh, I guess I do have the update.
A secret. Tonight's 48 hours mystery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been getting like 200K followers.
Yeah, I just got 100K. Just like my post.
It was the first day of spring, March 21st, 2007, a time of new beginnings for Teresa Parker, according to her sister, Christina Hall.
She was at my house Wednesday night for about an hour, and we talked, and she wanted me to go to her new place.
The 911 dispatcher and her police officer husband, Sam Parker, after 13 years of marriage, were divorcing.
The marriage was playing itself out, but it wasn't in a bad way.
Teresa was getting ready to move into her own apartment near her sister and nephews.
She was just so excited to be closer and be able to help us out with them and spend more time with them.
But when the sisters said their goodbyes that Wednesday night, Christina says something was different.
When I hugged her that night, I just got the emptiest feeling, and it was really strange.
The sisters didn't talk at all the next day, Thursday, and Christina figured Teresa was just busy cleaning her new place.
Thank you.
But by Friday morning, March 23rd, that empty feeling in her gut was back.
I just woke up and felt like I had this black cloud over me, and I'm not usually like that. And I thought, I want to talk to Teresa. She always made me feel better.
Teresa didn't answer her phone. Christina went to work, still hoping she'd hear from her sister at any moment.
But every time the phone would ring, I'd check the ID to see if it was her.
Could it be Teresa?
I thought, well, she'll be calling anytime since I'd left her a message, because it was odd that she didn't call me right back.
Walker 911.
Meanwhile, Teresa's friend and co-worker, Rhonda Knox, was also getting worried after a strange early morning call on Thursday, March 22nd.
And at 6 o'clock in the morning, my phone rings, and it's from Teresa, and I answer it. And there's just a few seconds there, and then hang up.
Rhonda knew it was odd for Teresa to call and hang up.
I thought, this isn't Teresa, So I called it back. It rang and then went to voicemail.
Where did I got it from TikTok.
So I started getting worried.
To ease her mind, she called police officer and friend Shane Green and asked him as a favor to check out the home Teresa still shared with her soon-to-be ex, police officer Sam Parker.
So when Shane went to the house, did he call you? What did he say?
He was saying, okay, we've beat on the door. And I told him, I said, look in the garage. She parks in the garage every time. And he shined in there. He told me, he said, that car's not here.
You could be vaping formaldehyde, which is used in taxidermy.
Oh, dear.
What? Formaldehyde. Oh, dear.
Formaldehyde.
What? I knew it. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. What? Are you an elf?
I got them from TikTok.
I don't know what I am.
You can get more socks.
It's kind of like the food sour.
Ah, shit.
It's around
I missed.
6:30 a.m. Teresa's Toyota 4Runner was nowhere to be found, but her
I have a
husband Sam
task of you.
Parker's patrol car was in the garage,
Hear me?
and his pickup truck
I have a
was
task
parked
for you.
outside the house.
Go in the bathroom, give me a
in plain
cotton round.
sight.
Wet it.
Strangely,
Yeah.
Thursday afternoon, Teresa's
Not yet, though.
SUV was back at the house, but still no one had seen her, and she wasn't answering her cell phone.
Teresa, it's Roger. She will give me a call. Call me whenever you get a chance. Please call me if you get this. Please, I love you. Bye.
Everyone was calling her, including husband Sam Parker.
Teresa, this is Sam. It's Friday night, 3 o'clock. Just worried about you, where you are.
More than 24 hours had come and gone with no word from Teresa. Her sister Christina was frantic.
There were just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I knew something so horrible, and I was scared to death.
Then on that Friday evening, March 23rd, Christina got a call from her brother-in-law, Sam Parker.
If there's a hole in your
who was
sock,
on
you gotta throw it
patrol,
out.
working the night shift.
What do you mean? It's a
I could
hole in your sock.
immediately tell
Right, look at
him
this one,
something
though.
wasn't right
Yeah.
because he was talking really
Yeah, throw it
fast,
out, babe.
and he
Let it
kept
go.
clearing his throat. And that was just
Oh,
out of
all those
character.
socks? So you don't have any
And I was
socks
like,
anymore?
We need to do
Well,
something. We need
yeah,
to call
pretty
this
much.
person's report. You know this is not
Yeah,
Teresa.
like one pair that's like.
Well, wait till
Christina
you
says Parker told her he'd gone
wait
for
till you
a
get
walk
new
with a
socks
buddy
and then
that
throw it out.
Thursday morning,
Oh, this one.
and that when he left
I can't
the
look right
house,
now.
Teresa's SUV was in the garage. But if Christina was panicked, Sam Parker seemed anything but.
He said, well, I'm at work right now, but now when I get off work in the morning, I'll see what I can do.
I need a cotton round,
Who
please.
ended up filing a missing
My
persons
mom.
report?
My mom did the next morning.
Saturday morning, March 24th, 2007, day 3. Teresa's family calls the police.
What?
Sheriff Wilson,
Walker County Sheriff Steve Wilson.
our detective, was assigned the missing
Hi.
person case. He told me, he said, Sheriff said something's just not right here.
Wilson knew this case was just too personal for him to investigate. He not only knew Teresa from 911, he'd gone to the police academy with Sam Parker. So he called in the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
He called at about 5 o'clock
Thank you.
on Saturday and stated he had a missing 911 dispatcher who was married to a Lafayette police officer. He asked for GBI assistance.
No, stop it.
Special
Stop
Agent
it.
James Harris headed straight for Teresa's new apartment, looking for any
Oh, it's
clues.
sopping wet. Poop.
Yeah.
We found a few
Damn.
odds and ends, some clothes, some shoes, her 911 uniform. We found where Lowe's had stopped in to deliver a washer and dryer that she had previously purchased, and she wasn't there, so they left one of the flyers on the
Yeah.
doorknob.
It's too early.
Yeah, and it's a Wednesday. Can you give me another one, but like not as wet? It's too wet. I can't do it.
What are you trying to do?
I need to wipe some stuff off.
With no sign of Teresa, neighbors and friends joined together. Agent James Harris was eager to talk with Sam Parker. And on Sunday, March 25th, 4 days after Teresa went missing, Sam Parker, the police officer, wasn't the one asking the questions.
What did Sam tell you in that interview?
I knew that we had to lock him in on a timeline. One of the things that jumped out at me immediately was that he said he was in his truck the whole night.
But 3 people had already told Agent Harris a different story. They saw Parker's truck parked at Sam and Teresa's house early that Thursday morning.
And Sam is telling you he was driving around in his truck.
That's correct.
Can you wipe
So
this off?
then that's when red flags
Be
started
careful.
going
It
up
has
and
a lot
Sam
of glue in it.
became a suspect in my eyes.
White?
I couldn't
Yeah.
understand why
The
he would
black
lie
stuff?
about
Yeah.
something that small.
you.
At least I thought it was
Anything?
that small at the time.
I've not got anything to hide. I've not got anything to lie about.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I told you.
Sam
Yeah,
Parker
it's okay.
believed Teresa had gone off on her own because they were divorcing, so he couldn't understand why investigators were looking at him.
It must have been strange as
Very strange.
a police officer to
To be in uniform, yeah, and be and then being looked at, yeah.
Law enforcement was facing a real mystery. What happened, and why couldn't anyone find the police officer's wife?
Where does glue come from?
The glue?
Yeah.
Like on the thing?
Yeah.
I was trying to put it in the thing and then I
They
missed.
were the Norman Rockwell vision of brothers growing up
Well,
next
it's
to
not
the
going to be
river.
perfect,
We grew
but
up
I just don't want it to be.
very close. Very
Okay,
close.
that's fine, I guess.
It's not that sticky.
Oh, as long as it's not sticky.
Kenneth
My
Parker
makeup,
looked up to
I
his
got it
big
from a
brother
lot of
Sam
places.
and followed in his footsteps.
He went in the Marine Corps. I went in the Marine Corps. He went in the police department, law enforcement. I went into law enforcement.
How much of Sam's life was being a cop?
For him, it was everything. He was a cop 24 hours a day.
And he says his proud police officer brother was quickly smitten with a young 911 operator.
He started talking about this new dispatcher who was very attractive and started talking about, he would like to try to take her out. One thing led to another and he started dating her and it took off from there.
Do you remember on the job, first impressions of her?
She was thin.
She was thin.
Yeah.
Was she super skinny?
For around here, yeah.
You'd instantly fall in love with her just about when you get to talk to her. Because she was that way, she just made you feel comfortable.
Her nickname was Mother Teresa, and according to younger sister Christina, she was the glue that held their family together.
She was the type of person, if you needed her, you called her, she was there.
Teresa's first marriage had ended in divorce, and Sam Parker already had 2 ex-wives.
Look at that, couple little lovebirds.
Despite their past failed relationships, Sam and Teresa seemed like a good match.
When I first met him, I liked him. He had a good, funny sense of humor and seemed to be a gentleman to her.
Did you think, oh, maybe this is the one for her?
I thought, he probably is. He's going to be the one because she was just crazy about him.
Teresa and Sam Parker married on September 11th, 1993. They seemed happy at first, but then, after a few years, their relationship turned rocky.
They were fighting one moment, in love with each other the next. It was a seesaw, and evidently they liked it that way.
But it seems Teresa finally had enough and decided to pull the plug after 13 years of marriage.
She's a missing person, and I don't know where she is.
Part of the problem investigators have in searching for Teresa Parker is the terrain. Just look at this. This is the woods right across from the Parker home, and this goes on for miles and miles in every direction. This is mountain country. It's thick with trees. There's brush all over the ground. It's the perfect place to hide something, and chances are no one will ever find it.
All right, it's time to boogie.
There's hundreds and hundreds of old wells in this area.
No,
And Mr. Parker
I didn't even
grew
do my
up here.
makeup.
FBI Special Agent Mark Veazey.
His childhood was spent hunting in these woods. His adulthood is spent fishing in the ponds all around this area. He knows this like the back of his hand.
And investigators discovered that Sam told people, perhaps jokingly, he could use that knowledge to do some pretty awful things.
He told everybody in Walker County but a couple that he knew how to get rid of a body and no one would ever find it. He'd talk about putting them in ponds and the turtles would eat them.
Law enforcement and volunteers searched fingertip to fingertip through the woods. They drained and searched ponds and combed through the local landfill. Authorities even searched Parker's home 5 times. They confiscated a collection of old guns and rifles, but investigators didn't believe they were connected to Teresa's disappearance.
I told him, I said, y'all went, you didn't even search her closet. You didn't look through her personal stuff. You went in and you looked for things and took things of mine and only looked at me.
You brought dogs out here.
Yes.
We provided them a scent that we collected of Mr. Parker's clothes and also off of his patrol car. And they ran, as they alerted, to his scent, all up this hill and all back down this way, indicating to us that he had been here.
We're drawing conclusions that, you know, she may have been harmed. And she may possibly be dead. Me personally, I'm not going to let that enter my mind until I have to, if in fact it did, if something has happened.
There were other people we looked at, but we went where the evidence led us, and it kept funneling us to Sam Parker.
Mr. Parker is, in my opinion, very cold and calculating, very meticulous in his actions. He was very meticulous in the way he was a police officer. His uniform was always perfect. His car was always perfect.
But investigators were finding Sam Parker's story was less than perfect.
Mr. Parker advised us that the last time that he saw or talked to Teresa was approximately 7:30 on Wednesday, March 21st, when she was loading up her vehicle and taking things to her new apartment.
Hi, I'm Tim Boyle. I'm the CEO here at Columbia Sportswear. And this message is for flat earthers. You guys claim there's an end to the earth? Well, just go snap a picture. Send it to us, and you get the assets of the company. Hey, we're giving you all this. This, all this, and all of that. You're going to the edge of the earth, wear Columbia. You'll need it. Best of luck.
But according to the phone records, Sam Parker had called Teresa several times in the early morning hours. On that Thursday, she disappeared.
And in fact, there were 2 telephone calls. We believe that Mr. Parker was trying to get in touch with her. He denied making any additional telephone conversations.
Now that's bizarre behavior for a seasoned police officer who would know you'd pull the phone records.
I don't know if he forgot about them or if he was trying to cover that fact up. I'm not sure.
Then the crime scene specialist examined Teresa's Toyota 4Runner.
He turned around to me and said, we've got blood back here. Well, I knew it was on then.
And there was more.
The back of the 4Runner had been obviously vacuumed. You could see the vacuum marks.
So what'd that say to you?
Well, someone cleaned it.
I knew we were looking the right way,
Looking the right way, meaning what?
meaning Sam Parker.
You know, they were ready to lynch me in this town. And that's just beyond me.
The crime lab tests confirmed Teresa's blood and Parker's DNA were in the back of her SUV. Investigators now had what they needed to make an arrest.
We placed him in handcuffs, and the only thing he said was he asked me if I'd turn his coffee pot off for him, so I did.
Nearly 1 year after 911 dispatcher Teresa Parker disappeared, her police officer husband, Sam Parker, was charged with his wife's murder.
Did you kill Teresa Parker?
No, I did not.
What do you think happened to her?
I do not know.
Nobody knows that she was killed. There's no physical, there's no forensic evidence, there's nothing to show that she was killed.
Defense attorney David Dunn has a whole other theory to explain Teresa Parker's disappearance.
Did Teresa have a boyfriend?
I believe she did.
That's it.
No.
The week before 41-year-old Teresa Parker disappeared, she took a trip to the Smoky Mountains.
She called me her first morning there and was like, I'm having coffee outside. It's just beautiful.
3 days in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It was supposed to be a quick getaway before her move and the divorce. Teresa made a reservation at her favorite cabin, the Honeybee Hideaway.
You know, she told me, she said, I want to be by myself and think about things, clear my mind. She'd been so stressed.
And And she was alone.
And she was alone, yes.
51-year-old Sam Parker knew his wife was going to Gatlinburg. He had even given her money for shopping. But there was something about her trip that troubled him, so he decided to do a little investigating on his own.
He was, a husband just like any other husband, trying to find out who went off for a couple of days with his wife.
Parker called the lodge and convinced the clerk to send him Teresa's registration. Defense attorney David Dunn.
She registered for a room using the name Barker. Whether someone actually went with her or visited her there while she was there, we don't know that.
Prosecutor Lee Patterson.
He was very angry about the Gatlinburg trip because he was convinced that she had cheated on him.
Parker's suspicions about Teresa and another man grew when he found something else puzzling on her room reservation.
She listed 2 adults. We know from the statement that Shane Green made that he was at least invited to accompany her. We know that much.
Remember, Shane Green was the police officer who discovered Teresa's SUV missing the morning the prosecution believes she was murdered.
You don't think that this could have just been a work relationship?
No, I don't. Not between those two.
The defense says that there were 2 people staying at that lodge,
There
that
were
Teresa
not.
had somebody with her. No?
No, there were not. Our information is there was nobody there to see her. And if the defense wants to say that Shane Green was there with her, the cell phone towers show that his cell phone activity was not in Gatlinburg.
Green says he was not in Gatlinburg and was never romantically involved with Teresa.
So all of this jealousy that Sam seems to have is unfounded?
In my opinion, yes. He was a very controlling, manipulative person. And I think that Teresa was tired of being controlled and manipulated.
According to prosecutors, Teresa Parker did have one big secret. The 911 dispatcher, who had helped so many people in crisis, was dealing with a very personal crisis of her own. An angry and abusive husband.
I think she hid it very well. I think
I'm
she
keeping it
hid
here.
it from everybody.
Did Sam have a drinking problem?
No, he could drink real well. Yes,
Very funny.
he could drink. Yes,
Go down this for me,
drank
please.
way too much.
What was
Yeah.
he like when he drank?
Funny.
No, just
Funny?
stand.
Happy drunk.
The tip?
Yeah.
Teresa's sister Christina says there was nothing
make sure it's wet,
funny
though.
about her brother-in-law.
Make sure it's
He
wet,
had
though.
too much alcohol.
He became a violent
Make sure it's
meaner.
wet though.
He would keep a water bottle in the refrigerator during family dinners or whatever, and he would sneak over there and drink out of this bottle, and it was straight vodka. I had seen him in action, so scary.
Thank you. Thank you. Screw that for me.
Hello, Ryan Reynolds here. The air is colder, the days are shorter, and I have completely and totally misunderstood this commercial entirely.
There have been allegations that you've had some issues with drinking.
Something that got blown up way out of proportion.
So you did drink, but it didn't affect your job. Is that fair to say?
That's very fair to say, yes.
Christina says Sam Parker's behavior could change from nice to nasty in an instant.
They had went out to eat for dinner one night, and of course he started out drinking.
Christina says when her sister left the restaurant, Parker followed her.
They got into the car, and he started threatening her. Took his gun out, was shooting his gun up in the air in the parking lot.
Teresa called 911, but when the police arrived, they didn't arrest
Oh,
Parker.
ripped.
Instead, they took him to a hospital for psychiatric evaluation.
After an incident like that, why didn't Teresa walk away?
She just didn't want to give up, and and she loved him. She was in love with him.
It's a story Keela Beard says she knows all too well because she lived it. She was Parker's second wife and was married to him for 4 years.
One time, he was drinking a glass of water.
Yeah.
and he threw the glass on the floor, and it broke. Then he actually took me by the hair and dragged me through the living room into the bedroom. And he dragged my feet, I was barefooted, he dragged my feet through that broken glass, and they were bleeding, and pulled out his handcuffs off of his belt and handcuffed me to the bedpost.
He eventually let her go because he had to go back to work. But Keela says when Parker abused her again a few months later, he gave her a warning.
He told me before he left that I better not tell anybody or call anybody, because if I did, he would kill me. He said, you can believe me that I know how to do it without getting caught, and they will never find your body.
Wow.
He said that to you?
He said that to me.
Still, neither Keela nor Teresa ever filed a police report about Parker's alleged abuse. His brother Kenneth doubts it was ever that bad.
Did Sam ever hit her?
Not that I know of.
Do you think he was physically abusive to Teresa in any way?
No, not physically. Mentally, both ways, because they like to play mind games, honestly believe. And he'd always said that she knew exactly what button to push if she wanted to fight.
Kenneth says his big brother is simply misunderstood and not a murderer. In fact, he's convinced his sister-in-law Teresa is still alive.
Where'd she go?
I have my own theory. I believe that she's either in Mexico or California.
I think I know where she is. I mean, I really do.
Sam Parker revealed his theory to Special Agent James Harris.
His exact words to me were, she's in Mexico with a guy named Elvis.
Elvis?
Yes.
It turns out Teresa had vacationed in Mexico with her nieces, and on that trip they met a resort entertainer named Elvis. Investigators followed up on Parker's hunch and traveled to sunny Cancun.
Is it possible that you missed Elvis and Teresa?
Like all the ICE agents, she's like, because they don't wear their masks when they're eating.
And
And this white woman, Karen, comes up and says, please don't film this, because you're getting me in it too.
Bitch, fuck you. Nobody's even
And
focusing
then
on
the
that.
Mexican lady is like, well, you don't have to eat here, eat somewhere else. And then she had a black
Is it
friend with her.
possible
The
that
black
she
friend
could
was
still be
smiling like,
walking
"No,
around
we're not trying
alive,
to
that she
intimidate you." Like,
just
was
wanted to
on-
get away?
she was like,
It
with
just
the
doesn't
camera.
make sense, and it's not a reasonable
Yep.
theory.
Oh, she
Sam
took
Parker
pictures of
murdered
their
her,
license plates. That's
disposed
crazy.
of her
Oh, the
body,
ice?
Yeah.
and obviously
crazy.
it doesn't bother him that her family still cries for her.
I need help, baby. Look for, see if it's on the desk. It's a thing that says Two-Face. It's brown.
Which desk?
This desk right here.
Oh, Two-Face and then
It's
what-
brown. It's brown. Oh, I found it. Never mind.
Oh, I don't see anything.
Well, I found it, so.
At Susie's Sunset Cafe, the breakfast crowd is buzzing about the Sam Parker trial, and everyone has an opinion.
I don't know where she's at, but she's not dead.
You don't think she's dead?
I think she's dead.
So you think she's still alive?
I do.
With no body, no crime scene, and no murder
That's
weapon,
insane.
prosecutor Lee Patterson has an uphill battle.
You wish that you had everything, but that's not how a case works. And we felt like, even though we didn't have a lot of forensics, that we had a lot of other stuff that was really good.
Defense attorney David Dunn.
How unique is this in that there's no body?
It's very rare. In the history of the state of Georgia, there's been about 4 of those over 200 years.
The prosecution admits they don't know exactly how Teresa died, but they're convinced the circumstantial evidence against Parker proves he's a murderer.
He had threatened people in the past and said, if you don't do such and such, or if you keep bothering me, I will kill you and bury you where nobody will ever find you.
3 adds up to all-in-one small business insurance. 1 comprehensive policy. 1 bill to pay each month. 1 provider to call for claims. Get a quote today at 3insurance.com.
When you walk into a Burlington, you're walking into low prices and amazing gifts. That's main character energy.
Wow.
Because at Burlington, the deals aren't the only thing bringing joy. Seriously, with these savings, why shop anywhere else this holiday? Burlington deals brings wow.
What we're going to see at trial is we're going to see a trial by character assassination.
Teresa's niece, Ashton Gilbert.
Anytime she would turn her back, he would flip her off and cuss her behind her back.
Parker's second wife, Keela B.
Put her body in the back of the SUV, and then he went to Christy Bellflower's house. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Christy Bellflower.
And Miss Bellflower, when the defendant got there, did he have anything with him to drink?
Yes.
What did he have with him?
Vodka.
All right, well, tell me, what kind of container did he have it in?
A water bottle.
Okay, so an hour to kill her. And then you say he left her body in her SUV.
That's right.
At their home and went on a date?
He had to have an alibi, and Christy Bellflower had expected him to come over there. How's he going to explain, well, I had a date, but I broke it?
After the date with
Can you
Christy
look in the
Bellflower
front? Never mind.
Thursday morning, prosecutors believe Parker drove home. Then, sometime between 5:30 and 7:30 a.m., he drove off in Teresa's SUV with her dead body inside and dumped her.
That's our theory of the case because that fits with the timeline. He goes back because he has to dispose of her body. He can't leave her lying in the carport.
Defense attorneys Doug Woodruff and David Dunn said that scenario is ludicrous.
Murder's a messy business. It's
I know,
virtually
for Universal,
impossible to do this kind of thing.
it's expensive as shit.
And leave no traces, no indications, no evidence.
What do you make of the blood that was found on the rear bumper of Teresa's car?
They had no idea how old the DNA was. They simply could not say whether it was a paper cut or an accidental injury or anything else.
Your favorite watch creators trust us at Exquisite Timepieces.
Exquisite is a family-owned AD. They're an awesome AD. I've worked with them for years. I've bought from them many times, so I recommend them.
Exquisite is authorized dealer of, as well as 60 other brands or more at this point, plus a massive pre-owned collection.
And there's only one reason you're seeing this video. It's because the awesome people at Exquisite Timepieces. Exquisite Timepieces has been around long enough that people who know watches
You and
know
ramen, sir. You and
But
ramen.
then prosecutors would call their most
There's can you look in the front pocket of my backpack, see if there's this one size?
Yes, ma'am.
Please, hurry.
Are you going to say your friends?
Yes,
Backpack?
ma'am. I consider
Oh.
him big brother.
Had you ever seen Sam
Right here, see? Let's see.
Yes,
Is
ma'am,
it?
I have.
Yeah, give me.
Chafin would tell the jury the most explosive evidence of the trial. A phone call from Sam Parker the night Teresa disappeared.
He said
still on this.
he'd really done it this time, or he's really going to do it this time.
What else did he say?
He said that he had a place that was going to be hard to find, or they never would find it,
What else?
and that he'd shot Teresa through the head.
Chafin told the jury after that confession, he hung up the phone. But a few minutes later, Parker called him back.
He said that if I told anybody, he'd have to kill me too.
Devastating testimony? Maybe not. It turns out Ben Chafin had given investigators 5 different stories, and he'd been arrested for helping Parker hack into Teresa's computer. The prosecution gave him immunity in exchange for testifying.
In your very first conversation with the GDI about Teresa Parker being missing, you didn't tell them about this so-called murder confession you heard simply because you forgot about it.
I forgot about it.
If somebody calls you and says, I killed my wife, that's something you remember. How could you forget that?
That was my initial reaction when I first started reading his statements. But when we talked to him, it became very clear to us that he was very, very close to Sam Parker. The person that he looked at as a father, as a brother, had done something so terrible, he couldn't wrap his mind around it.
Is Ben Chafin a good witness, a believable witness?
Oh, he's probably the most unbelievable witness I've seen in 26 years of practicing law.
Can you give me a sense of what's been going through your head?
Just the people that's been in my life for 25, 30 years. They recall things one way, and I recall them a little bit differently.
Have you been looking at the jury at all? Wondering?
I'm not wondering. I'm going to accept what they say, and that's what I'm going to do.
And Sam Parker may have the jury on his side.
How many of you thought Ben Chafin was believable?
He wasn't.
Nobody thought he was.
None of us, even the slight bit, thought he was credible at all. We all felt like he was lying.
Not only did they dismiss Chafin's testimony, they had problems with other evidence too.
How strong was that blood evidence?
To me, the blood was another circumstantial thing. It wasn't hard evidence for me.
And most of the evidence was all circumstantial. It was more so for us, we were putting together a jigsaw puzzle.
The jury would have to piece it all together, but it was beginning to look like the prosecution's murder case against Sam Parker wasn't adding up. How Teresa may have died has always been a mystery, but the prosecution believes these photos showing bruises on Parker's right arm are a significant clue to what happened. FBI Special Agent Mark Veazey.
What we felt was that Mr. Parker, who is known to have used chokeholds in the past, had used this maneuver on Teresa, and that she had fought back by putting her hands up, and that's what left the bruises on the inside of his arm.
I think she fought for her life at the end, and those bruises are evidence of that.
But you would argue they didn't come from a struggle with Teresa?
Oh, no. They're inconsistent with that, certainly. I didn't see them as a significant factor.
Prosecutor Lee Patterson gives the courtroom a dramatic demonstration. A rear naked chokehold, the move she believes Parker used
Don't be
to
jealous
kill
of
his
anybody.
wife, Teresa.
He's 20 and
What
he
did you
lives
think
in a
when the
$4,000
prosecutor
a month
brought up
NYC
the chokehold and
apartment.
actually
Yeah, does he have
asked her
daddy's
to
money?
put the chokehold?
I think it was absolute
Model, but
fabrication.
he's not like a
There was
big,
no
big
evidence
money.
Does he have daddy's
to
money?
base that upon.
I've never seen him talk about it.
There's one more piece of explosive evidence the jury would see before they
But he does
deliberated.
have 100,
This
at
poster
least 100K
with a
followers
crude
on
title
YouTube.
discovered in Parker's police
Because he has
log.
the plaque. And he
Should have
has
thrown it in the
1.7
garbage.
million
Probably
followers
should
on
have done
TikTok.
Don't
that.
compare yourself to
But instead,
anybody.
just threw it in the locker, and that's where it sat until it was pulled out.
So we
And he
shouldn't
signed
read
the
into it
Wilhelmina
that
model,
he
which
had some
is one of my dream
issue
agencies.
with women.
No,
They can accept
it
him.
means
They
nothing.
can accept
But
me.
it meant something to prosecutor Lee Patterson.
This is the guy who thought this was funny. Ladies and gentlemen, Teresa Parker almost made it out.
Like,
She
what's so,
almost made it to her new
what's so,
life.
like, good?
Finding
Look at
him
this.
Stop comparing yourself to people.
Find him guilty. Thank you.
Defense attorney David Dunn pleads with the jury to be
Oh,
mindful of
shit.
reasonable
David.
doubt.
Listen to the charge, especially the charge on circumstantial evidence. Follow the law. Find Sam Parker not guilty.
Are you looking for a college experience that's not just about classes, but a place where you can grow, learn, and discover who you are? At Frostburg State University, we celebrate diversity, foster connections, and provide you with unwavering individual support to put you on the path towards a successful career. With our affordable tuition and our robust financial aid, a high-quality education is within
Help
your
me.
reach.
I'm trying to hurry
Wherever you're
up.
going, it starts at Frostburg.
We didn't have one.
Packing stuff. Oh, can you get my clothes out actually?
Yeah.
Sam's jurors say the task of deciding Sam Parker's fate was particularly daunting because they had an overwhelming amount of circumstantial evidence, but not much else.
In the beginning, it was very split. 2 and 10. 2 and 10. 2 were guilty, and 10 were undecided.
Undecided. Wow. How tense did it get as you all wrestled with this?
Very. It gets tense.
It got quite heated at times.
How many of you watched Sam during the trial?
All of us did.
I mean, I tried to get eye contact with him as much as I possibly could.
Why?
I just needed to. Just because of the feeling of, this could be my uncle. This could be my brother. You know, I had to do that.
After 3 days of deliberation, the jurors seemed hopelessly deadlocked. But on count 1, which is murder, still no verdict.
Huh?
How did they design
There wasn't that smoking gun. We did have to make a decision on someone else's life.
It's not even short like that. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, compared to
You're
you.
like freeballing.
To do the same thing again.
Imagine you just wear underwear.
The judge
Why would
urged the
anybody
jury
do that?
to give it one
Nobody
more
does that.
try.
He
And this time, they would take an even closer look
Hi,
at the
guys.
cell phone evidence.
It threw up that red flag, hey, here I am. And looking at the cell phone records, he